Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. This is Marilyn Gale. Today I'm going to talk about Married at First Sight, the reality series. Let me just give you a quick rundown of anyone who has not seen the show. Singles are invited. There's a casting call, I think, and singles are invited to get married to a stranger. And they don't really meet each other until they're getting married. And that's why they named the show Married at First Sight. They meet each other at the altar. Now, they go through tests emotionally, mentally, seeing if they're stable. There's a background check, I was told, and they are evaluated. There's experts, there's a pastor, there's psychologists, and they go through emotional evaluation, mental evaluation. They're asked what type of person they prefer, and I think it even goes into race, which that in itself was a problem for one particular couple in the past. Who they hooked him up with is not really what he said he wanted on his test, but that's another story. But anyway, now the 9th season has ended, and this is actually the reunion, not really a recap, but just an article that was out, which is very short, and then I will give my nickel's worth on it, like I always do. Now, the end is here for season 9 of Lifetime's hit reality series Married at First Sight, as the couples convene to discuss their unique experiences in the reunion episode. Iris and Keith were up first on the couch as they spoke with Entertainment Tonight's Kevin Frazier about their short-lived marriage. Essentially, their conversation boiled down to the argument over Iris's virginity, with her looking for answers about how it factored into Keith's decision to get divorced, and his explanation that he didn't think she was mature enough clearly didn't please Iris in the least. Toward the end of their conversation, Frazier asked the duo if there was a chance they'd ever consider the choice to get divorced. And while Iris expressed hope for that in the future, Keith was less certain. Now, that's what the article said, very quick. But I noticed that sometimes Keith would look at Iris after she said something, and to me, it was clear that she was being funny and was just joking. However, Keith would look at Iris with no expression, and it was very noticeable that he was annoyed with her. The whole thing is clear to me that Iris was being virgin-shamed. You heard of being slut-shamed? Well, this is the reverse. Iris had little experience and not had intercourse. Guys, when did that become a problem to be a virgin? So if she was loose, would that have made him happy? Would it have made him happy if she had experienced with every guy she met? In my opinion, Keith just wanted steady, ongoing sex with no emotional attachment. He was in it, in my opinion, he was in it for the sex. As we know, marriage is more than just sex. Intimacy is more than just sex. In my opinion, Keith was concerned with the ability to have someone there every day, so when he had the urge, someone was there to accommodate him. I'm sorry, guys, that's the way I see it. He often said he didn't want the responsibility of being the one to take her virginity. I can't hardly say that word. How many men out there would have loved to marry a virgin, knowing they were the first. Or am I wrong? I know when I was coming up, it was a big thing for men to marry a virgin. Is that a thing of the past? Now, let me say this before I get jumped on. There are times when many women are not virgins when they marry. However, they are not bragging about it. It is not it was a mistake that they made. They take it back if they could. They would have done it differently. So I'm not shaming anyone for not being a virgin. Life happens. But when did it become a stigma to be a virgin? Nobody sent me the memo. This guy Keith got on my last nerve about Iris being a virgin, like she was a leper in the old days, to be cast out of the city and all the lepers stuck together and could not go into the city because they were unclean. And if they passed someone in the street, they had to call out, unclean, unclean, like on the movie The Green Mile, dead man walking, or in this case, dead woman walking. Iris made a joke saying that she is a divorced virgin. I'm tripping up on that word, guys. However, you could tell she was hurt. She wanted to have that experience with her husband, Keith. I don't find anything wrong with that. My opinion is Keith needs to grow up, not Iris. Keith thought of Iris as immature, and he's actually the immature one. I think he is a spoiled brat, and that's because he was good looking, and he had no problem getting women to have sex with without any emotional attachment. And that's my opinion. All those relationships obviously didn't work for him because he was on the reality show Married at First Sight. So maybe he needed something new, someone new. Or maybe, just maybe, he just wasn't into Iris and used her virginity as an excuse. No matter what the case is, I think he missed the best opportunity to have a loving wife and companion. You're lost, Keith. And maybe the ladies with experience won't want you. Keith, you made a mockery of marriage. Maybe that's why some people don't like this show, is because they feel like this show makes a mockery of marriage. Well, if we're looking at Keith, I can see why people would think that. Because it's men like him. Like I said before, Keith, grow up. So that's what I have, you guys. I just don't think that he was in it for the right reason. Maybe it just boils down, like I said, of him not being into Iris like she was into him, and used her virginity as an excuse. So guys, if you have not subscribed, please do so now. Hit that notification bell, and I will be back with another video. Thank you for joining me, and have a good evening.